Okay. Welcome to News and Trends with Dave and Lynn. Hello, my name is David Coker of Dave Mark Inc. I'm an entrepreneur, promoter. I work with artist development and music management, and also a marketing specialist. And I'm glad to be here with you guys today. Let me have my partner introduce himself.
Yep. And my name is Leonard Young. I am the founder of National Black Guide, a Black media specialist, and we're excited about our first show, Dave, because we've been
Yes,
talking about this for a
yes, yeah.
while.
We've been talking about this for a while. We just wanted to get it out here and get it started, and hopefully get you people interested, and you can tell your friends and have you guys listen on a regular basis to us. So we're going to start out today, just trying to get a feel for what we're doing and trying to
Mhm.
understand what's going on out there in the world today. I know there's a lot of shows that are like this, and podcasts seem to be the rage these days, but we want to try to do something a little bit different and try to just get the pulse of not just the local area, but all over as well. So if you're listening today, even if we got one listener, we hope the next time we'll have
not, not,
three.
not, not yet, but soon.
Yeah, the next time we'll have three.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we say something that's going to touch you in a way that you come back and listen to us again. Right, Lynn?
Right. Yeah, definitely. And, we've been talking about because one of the things is, we talk often and we talk about a lot of different topics. And I know the topics you talk about are not the topics I talk about.
Right.
And generally the topics I talk about are not the topics you talk about. So, I think with that, I think it's just a good mix.
Yeah.
And, we definitely laugh a lot about.
Well, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
craziness, and keep in mind now. I'm going to go ahead and put this out here,
Hmm.
because there is, I'm 61, and Lynn is 25, but that's look, and
I wish. I
you notice he
wish.
didn't correct me, but it's not, but there, we have from one age,
Hmm.
and one view of the spectrum as far as um, what they call us, the baby boomers, and then we got the millennial Gen Xers
I
or
mean,
whatever, So
I thank you for the millennial comment, but I'm not like,
I know
I'm
he's a
not
little
sure if
bit
I
older than
fall
a
in.
millennial, but he's still a young guy. So
Hmm.
but we've always had a great connection in looking at, and we agree a lot on a lot of things that are going on out there. But of course, it's good to have a different perspective and to be able to see things in a different light. So that's what we're hoping to bring to your light today. So so we're going to get started. Len, what were you thinking about? I know you brought up something earlier.
Yeah, so the first thing, Dave, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a video of there was a pastor out of actually Tennessee near Nashville, and at their church service, there was somebody who went up to the pulpit with a gun, and the pastor actually tackled him, from the pulpit, which is just kind of crazy. Unfortunately, the video is not loading. So, like right here, you can see him waving the gun, and you can't really see, but the pastor's coming around the side. But it's just so crazy. And what it said in the article is that the person waving the gun was telling everybody to get up out of their chairs. So, like, I know a lot of people are like, some of the people were still clapping. So, like, okay, like, why are they clapping? Someone's holding a gun. So you kind of see the pastor creeping up from behind, but I know you're an avid churchgoer. Do would your pastor do that?
Well, it's funny. I had heard about this, but I didn't see the video. So I'm seeing the video for the first time, but I
Hmm.
did read about this, and it is interesting to see the dynamics of everyone and the reaction of everyone, because everyone kind of gets down after he's tackled,
Yeah.
instead of paying attention to what's going on. Um, my pastor, my pastor might do something like this. It's funny being my pastor from the hood. So we
Right.
probably, if we figured we could sneak up on him and without getting shot, yeah, we
Hmm.
probably would do something
Right.
like that.
But on the flip side, a lot of people are saying, okay, he had a gun, he was waving it at people in the audience. it's one of the things where you kind of have to weigh, what that right move is too. But, luckily here, nobody was hurt.
Yeah, and lucky he didn't fire, because the way, when you look at the video and the way the pastor tackled him, he tackled him forward.
Right.
Which meant that if he had his finger on that trigger,
oh yeah,
it would have shot somebody.
Or if he had fallen on something like that.
But this is the problem with funerals and everything. This is probably somebody, and did it say how old it?
Yeah, 26 years old.
Yep, there we go. That's where I was going. Mm-hmm. It's probably a young person. Unfortunately, we're having too many funerals these days where people probably have gotten mixed up in some craziness or whatever, drugs, guns, whatever. And so nowadays, the funerals, you almost have to have cops at all of these funerals.
You do.
Because of how everything is going now, because there's always a retaliation factor at a lot of these funerals, and people be sitting there waiting for a certain person to walk in, and that's it. This is the world that we live in today. I know there's a local funeral home in Wilmington where recently there was a funeral, and they started shooting outside the funeral home. Yeah, the Legacy Center in Wilmington.
Okay,
they've had that to happen at one of the highly publicized funerals. The funeral was packed. Young kid, gang member, got shot, and people waited on the outside for people to come out, and they started shooting.
Wow.
So fortunately enough, nobody got hurt, but this is the world we're in nowadays.
So. Yeah, no, I mean, it is. And, I think depending on how that person passed away, the funeral is a place where, all his people are all in one spot.
That's right. That's right.
Probably unarmed.
Yeah.
And definitely probably not prepared.
And if you're a person that's in a retaliation mode, if you think about what's going on, you don't care about what the repercussions are. If you're the person out there with the guns and whatever, you just want to get revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't, and these young people have no filter. They don't care. And, they feel that they can get away with anything. So why not shoot up a funeral?
Yeah. And well, it's funny. I'm looking at the article here, and it said the 26-year-old who had the gun claimed he was Jesus, and that all churches and schools need to be shot up, which is crazy. So if I was in the church and I heard something like that, where I thought, okay, I may die regardless, then, I definitely would have been more likely to, basically, I don't know, can we curse on here?
Yeah,
I'd basically be ready to tackle his ass.
Well, let me tell you something. First of all, you're better than me, because as soon as he started waving that gun, I would have my finger up walking out the door, and I would just say, "Praise the Lord." Mm-hmm. I have to use the restroom. I'll be back.
But walking out, you might have been that first target too.
I'll take my chances. So
And Dave, we already know you're a deacon, so you could be at the front.
It doesn't matter.
You got a long way to the back.
It doesn't matter. First of all, at my church, I sit in the back. Yes, I do. I sit in the back. I'm the very last seat.
Is there a reason?
I'm just because I like to sit back there so I can see everything.
Okay.
And I want to know what's going on. I grew up in the projects. Okay. And one thing I learned in the projects:
never have your back to the door.
Never have your back to the door. Even in my office at work, my back is to my door at work. Mm-hmm. But I have a mirror that sits there. And I see everything that's going on behind me. So nobody can sneak up on me. So that I'm just that way. So,
wow.
So, and that's something you learn. That was something we were taught as kids. Don't let that happen.
Yeah. So I mean, clearly I didn't grow up in the hood like that.
No.
So I'm now, but certain places I go, I do also want to be aware of my surroundings.
Yeah, you got to be.
And I want to be positioned in a place where I have some flexibility to move if something happens too. So,
well, let me tell you this. One thing I learned because I played football and basketball is because one of the things you have to learn is that you have to have good peripheral vision to play sports. And you were a swimmer, so you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, not for swimming.
But not for swimming. Well, no, even for swimming. Because you got to know what's going on side of you.
Right.
So one of the things that made the people who excelled in their sports better was the fact that they knew what was going on at all times. And they, it's just like being a track and field runner. You know, you don't have to know whether or not you're running faster than everybody else. You just need to make sure that nobody is running alongside of you. And then, like my favorite commercial, the Red Bull commercial with the lion is coming out, and there's two deers talking. And
right.
The one deer
faster than the lion. I just gotta be faster.
I just gotta be faster than you. That's right. So that's the whole key. So with these type situations, you always have to. If you walk into a situation and it looks like it feels a little uneasy to you, it's your responsibility to pay attention to everything. Which leads us into our next topic, the Astroworld situation. It's a very unfortunate situation. There's a big lawsuit,
a few of them
going on. Travis Scott and Drake have both been named in these lawsuits. And believe it or not, this is the third time that Travis Scott has been named in lawsuits like this. Okay. Now, one of the people that's involved that has a lawsuit against this whole situation is a gentleman who took his 9-year-old son.
I saw that. Tragic.
Yeah. And had him up on his shoulder at this event. Now, the first thing came to mind for me was, why is he there with a 9-year-old kid? Exactly. I mean, I understand Travis Scott is popular and Drake is too. But in a setting like that, with all of those people there, you got to be, is that a good place for you to have a kid in? And then, of course, second of all, Travis Scott has always been known for hyping up things. And that's what's gotten him in trouble in the past because he likes to excite the crowd. He's had people jumping off of balconies before. I mean, the guy, now keep in mind, he's a very popular person music-wise, and of course, we know who he's hooked up with. So, of course, he's high right now, and of course, you put Drake out there with him, we already know how popular Drake is.
Right.
You have to have responsibility here as far as making sure that you are doing everything possible to ensure that the crowd stays at a certain level. Of course, you want the hypeness. You want to make sure that they're enjoying themselves, but you can't take it up to that level where you got them rushing your stage and all of that kind of crazy.
Yeah, and so like a couple of things I saw, and I'm just gonna say unconfirmed because I saw it via social media, but one of them, what they were saying that there was a point during Astroworld where he was telling people to break through the fence. Come through the fence.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
So that's one.
He was.
Two, and so this one kind of goes both ways. So if I'm a performer on stage, and I'm not sure how many people, I don't know if you know how many people were actually at the event, but
I think they said the number was, did I read 5,000?
5,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So, if 5,000 people are there, and I'm not sure the proximity of where, the people were killed or, trampled, but, can I see the whole area? And, I'm kind of playing devil advocate to Travis Scott. So, I do agree if he saw it, then he definitely has a responsibility, or maybe let's say more of a responsibility. But, I'm just not sure what his visibility might have been like. Now, the one that I did think was a shame, did you see the video of the girl who climbed the cameraman stand?
Yes, that was crazy.
And, she was trying to tell him what was going on, and he was just, nonchalant to the whole situation, which is, definitely crazy. So,
I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. 50,000.
Yeah. Yes. I was way off. I know it was a 5 something. I know it's on 5 something.
So, 50,000 is crazy. So, and they said that the Houston police told him prior that there were a lot of people, something could happen. And I don't know if his people didn't take the right precautions, but, definitely unfortunate, prayers to everybody involved.
Yes, it's a sad situation. Um, and I actually feel bad for both sides, the entertainers and also the people who were involved that lost lives and who also got hurt, because we're not, we got people that lost lives, but we also had people that got hurt. That little kid is fighting for his life right now,
Right.
and so it's really a shame. Now, Travis has stepped up and said that he wanted to pay for all the
Right.
funerals. Um, he also wanted to give all the money back for the tickets that were sold. I mean, he's trying to step up and do his things. Of course, I know the PR people are probably like working hard to try to make sure that his status and his reputation doesn't get hurt any more than it has. And and he's probably going to do all of that stuff, but it's still going to cost him more money,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
these lawsuits are going to keep coming, and you're probably going to have some fake ones. He's going to lose a lot of money here, and Drake too is going to lose some money.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is Live Nation, so
Live Nation, yeah,
Live Nation has a lot of money to lose. Like,
yeah, they do.
so
Well, they're going to lose some of it. They might have to borrow some money from Bezos and those type of people. So but the world we're in, this is the type of stuff that we're dealing with.
yeah,
Staying on the, since we're in the entertainment realm, let's stay in the entertainment realm. Uh, you know, I was just reading some things earlier today, and I saw uh, that Stevie J and our girl
Faith.
Faith was get divorced, and the Faith didn't know anything about it. Did
Oh,
you
she.
hear this?
Well, I mean, so
She
like,
found out on Twitter.
so I heard the headline. I just didn't know the story.
Apparently, he went into a courthouse and filed for divorce.
Wow.
Faith found out on Twitter, did this, didn't
So
know.
he posted on Twitter that he did it, or somebody from the courthouse.
Somebody must have posted it or whatever, but he
Yeah.
filed for divorce, and she found out on Twitter. Now, these two were just together last week, taking photos and everything, talking about how
Oh,
great
was it?
everything
Well,
was.
how photos?
They were at some event or
Gotcha.
whatever, and there's pictures online showing them together, and they look happy or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's out here that he filed for divorce. Now, apparently, they were talking about how she had cheated on him a couple times, with younger guys, back about 7 months ago. But of course, that was all from
Retaliation.
Jocelyn Hernandez's mouth, So,
Right.
so,
Can't
but
be trusted.
yeah, can't be trusted or whatever. But it's just amazing, and when you think about Faith Evans, you think about the men she's been involved with. This is her second marriage. No, is it her second? Yeah, second marriage, and she of course, you figure the guys that she married, they're both character kind of guys, Um, seemed like she just has a hard time with dealing with the proper type of men. And of course, she's had her issues over the years herself. So, but people nowadays, this is the type of stuff that people like to tune into. I was also looking at something on a more positive note. Um, Yesterday, Missy Elliott got a star
Yeah, that
on
was
the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
definitely well
Definitely
deserved.
well deserved. Took too long to do, but it was great to see that she's gotten her star, and I saw that LL Cool J just recently got one too. So
Oh, on the Walk of Fame.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought you were about to say LL Cool J and Jay-Z being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall
Well,
of
yeah,
Fame.
and that's a great honor in itself to have those two inducted, into the Hollywood. I mean, into the Hall of Fame. It's good that they're starting to recognize a lot more people of color, because the Hall of Fame for a long time they would put one of us in and then
Yeah.
say, okay, they got one.
Right,
in,
right.
so,
One per year.
but it's just interesting that we definitely have that. As far as the people of color being able to get recognized for the type of work that they do. So, what are you looking at the moment?
Yeah, so right now I was just looking at some of the pictures. So I saw she had
From
Sierra.
yeah,
there,
Sierra was
a
with
couple
her,
other people.
and Lizzo.
Oh, yeah, Lizzo,
yeah,
yes.
Lizzo was with her and helped to introduce her. Yeah. So Actually, Lizzo looked pretty good last night.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you know, even just now looking at Missy Elliott, she's lost a lot of weight.
she's made a big transformation.
She lost a lot of weight, and oh no, I actually think about somebody else, but yeah, I mean Missy definitely, and so I periodically see some of her Twitter posts.
Yeah.
Very positive, very motivational. You know, so she's definitely not one of the people out here gossiping.
No, she has been. When you look at her career, she's never been that person that's put herself out there. You know, she's always been known for the crazy videos and so forth and so forth. But her talent was definitely undeniable. What you call the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, says that Missy Elliott is her favorite of all time.
Wow.
You know, because she, I remember watching their carpool karaoke thing with her and Missy Elliott. Michelle Obama, they must have went through like 6 of Missy's songs. She knew every word that every song that
was Missy on the. Oh, so
she was in the car with her.
Oh, so it was Michelle, Missy,
and James Corden, and then they were playing all the Missy's. And of course, he knew all the words to everything. So, and Michelle was right there with her. I was like, "Go ahead, Michelle," you know. So, but Michelle talks to how great of a person she is as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely believe very, very well deserving. So of course, you know, Yolanda's from that area because she's from Hampton, Norfolk News, the VA area. And you know, like one thing I can say about the VA artists, so let's say Timberland, Pharrell, Missy, even the Clips, you know, their people really support them.
Oh yeah,
you know, like I mean, like what's they I can't remember what the slogan is for VA, but I mean, Chris Brown, I mean, he's not from that area, but he's close. But I mean, I can say that Virginia Beach, Hampton area really supports those artists.
Well, let me crash by saying it's not just the entertainment people too, because the athletes from that area as well. The same thing happens. All the basketball players that come out of there, and the DMV area.
Oh yeah,
they all are very connected in that way. So if you have a so as far as the music and the athletes, especially the basketball players, they all rep each other, and they're all very close down there. Because I know quite a few guys from down that area, and you know, Missy Elliott, Timberland, you know, those
Teddy
guys,
Riley.
Teddy Riley. Well, if you remember, you know, Legend talks about how when Aaliyah,
you said Legend.
Okay,
Legend.
Talk about it. When Aaliyah decided that she wanted to do her second album, and she didn't want to use R. Kelly for her second album, everybody thought she was crazy. Now, keep in mind, this is a teenager making this decision.
Yeah, right.
Everybody thought she was crazy because she went from being in a safe space and a successful. Well, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, look, I don't know, she might look, some of them songs might have been about him. We just didn't know. You know?
Well, I mean, even that real quick, some of those songs were pretty grown for teenagers.
Yeah. And she was, you know, we have to remember, she was very young at that time. And, you know, when she decided that she didn't want to work with him, and that might have been her way of getting away from him. Maybe that was it at that time.
Some space.
But she actually said, when they asked her, who do you want to work with, and who do you want to produce and do this next album? And she said, well, there's these 2 young people down in VA, Timberland and Missy.
I think I said Magoo. Okay.
No, it was Timberland and Missy.
Gotcha.
And she said, I really want to work with them. And they said, who? Because her people didn't even know who they were.
And we might not, I don't know.
We didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
I mean, they had done some stuff down in that area, and they were pretty big already down in the VA area.
Gotcha.
But when she said, that's who I want, and they said, well, we got to find out who these people are. And they went and checked them out and brought them up. And she said, that's who I want to work with. And of course, that second album.
Yeah, fire.
Yeah. You know, so, and actually put them on the map.
Yeah, no,
sure. Nationally because of working with her. So, but this is, you know, this is where we are as far as the whole thing, as far as the entertainment thing. Let me see. What are we going to talk about?
So, I mean, we might well go into sports, and you're more of a sports person.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, but Len is this guy who who he's suave, so he doesn't get into the whole sports thing like I do.
I mean, I look at the headlines.
Yeah.
I look at the headlines.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I know you pulled this up, but I wanted to say that I'm gonna come back to that
Gotcha.
because that's going to be. I actually want to talk about that in that.
Okay.
In the commentary.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but right now for us football fans, the NFL season is in week 9. I don't know what's happening, but actually going into week 10, and the season is going by in the blink of our eye. It seemed like the season just started. I don't know about you guys, but this week, I don't know, we have a lot of people that bet football. We have a lot of people that do the fantasy football and do the betting through the casinos and everything. Of course, you can't turn on a commercial nowadays without seeing Caesars, MGM.
Mm-hmm.
They got all the big names doing.
Fox.
They got Jamie Foxx, JB Smooth. They got everybody out there doing these commercials now. So, so here we are going into week 10. Week 9 was really crazy because there were a lot of upsets. I don't know what everybody feels as far as that's concerned, but there is definitely a trend right now. I don't know. Well, Lynn is not. I'm gonna have to bring somebody on here that knows something about some football,
right.
So, but it's really interesting because I'm a big Eagle fan because of the area I live in. Being
Hold on. Here, say it again. You're a big.
I'm
what?
a big Eagle fan. Wait. Anyway, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagle fan, and my partner over here trying to play around over here, trying to do something crazy. But anyway, it didn't work, so that means.
Well, actually, I think it did work.
Oh, okay.
But we can't hear it.
Oh, okay.
So, in fact, next time we need to get some.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so maybe we need.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I got it. So, but anyway, the Eagles lost a close one this past weekend. They trying to. My boy Jalen Hurts looked pretty good at quarterback this week, but he didn't get the ball back to be able to take him home. I don't know how many listeners we have on, or I know we're going to have later on, but I'm letting you guys know. That if you're Dallas Cowboy fans, don't listen. I'm just saying. I don't want to talk. I'm not trying to talk to any Dallas Cowboy fans.
We say they may want to tune in.
Yeah, you might want to tune in or tune in. Tune in. Just don't say nothing. Okay, I want you to listen, but just I'm not Cowboy fans. Oh my God. And then for Sixer fans, and I'm a Sixer supporter, but I'm not a Sixer fan. I'm a Laker fan. I know that's gonna piss some people off, but I am a Laker fan.
So the one thing I can say is I've known you to be a Laker fan for a long time. So
I'm not one of these fly by night people.
Right.
No.
So you're not no bandwagon jumper.
No, I'm not a fly by night people. So, but it's one that I really enjoy repping because I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. I've been a Laker fan. So, but for those people that want to talk sports with us, and once we really get into it, we definitely need to definitely talk it up. I just want you to know I'm a well-rounded sports person, so you don't have to ask Lynn anything. I'm here for you. Okay, all right. So I just wanted to put that out there.
It ain't that bad.
Now, if you need to know about swimming, he can help you with that.
but with that said, even though I'm not a big sports watcher, because to be honest, my Sundays just be busy.
Yeah.
I read the headlines, and there's certain articles I read. So
yeah,
but you're right. I'm not gonna be doing no week 9 recap.
No. But and that's me because I can go right through everything that's happened because I'm one of these guys. You're gonna find out about the both of us. We're pretty knowledgeable about a lot of different things, but I'm one of these guys. Like I told Leonard before, I'm not a person. Don't put a book in front of me and tell me to read this book. I'm not going to do that. But if you're talking about a subject that I don't know anything about, or if it's something I need to know about, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make sure I research it. And so the next time we have a conversation, I will make sure I know about it. Speaking of books, I saw Will Smith was in town yesterday,
Yeah, I did see that too.
and um, he did. Woo,
Yeah,
and he had a lot to say too, and it's just interesting about his story. He did the thing at the Met in Philadelphia yesterday. Queen Latifah was the host, and was it definitely was interesting to hear a lot of the things. I went to listen to a lot of the stuff he had to say today online, and I actually he talked about his father and his mother's relationship. I actually met his father years ago.
same here at
Yeah,
Amandala.
yeah. He was a pretty interesting guy, and plus his father used to date a friend of mine. So
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah, they dated for a long time, and so I got to. That's how I met his father, was with this particular friend of mine. So so to hear Will talking about a lot of the things he's talking about now, and then of course he has the movie coming out about King Richard, where he plays the father of Serena and Venus. And they're actually saying that this movie is getting great reviews,
I'm sure.
and he might be, they're talking about it. This could be his best acting move since back when he did The Pursuit of Happiness. So there could be some buzz around this. I think Will's in an interesting place in his life because
Not by choice.
not by choice, I don't think, but he's in an interesting place in his life when it comes to looking how he's kind of, just his career has come full circle.
And so has his private life.
Yeah, his private life is really, really interesting. His wife keeps things popping,
Yeah,
and he keeps
why
things
Jada?
popping.
Why is Jada doing that?
But we don't know both sides of the story. I'm sure a lot of the stuff is coming out with Jada now, but I'm sure that Jada's been doing a lot with Will. Because they said Will has had a lot of a lot of interesting situations, entanglements with a lot of his co-stars in the past and so forth. And if they really do have that open marriage that they talk about, then I'm sure they both have probably had interesting things to happen. And especially the way that Jada talks about how, dealing with this whole entanglement situation,
Right.
and how she felt in that situation with this August Alsina guy, and just being connected in that kind of way with him. So it's
But you would also think that they would have some type of agreement. Coming, she's been airing a lot of his business out there.
yeah.
When he hasn't been even with the August Alsina, he didn't bring that up to the public.
No.
That was just something. In fact, that's August brought
That
that
was
up.
August that brought it
But
up.
it's just crazy. Like Dave, I kid you not, every day I look at the headline and it's like Jada says this, or now it's even Will. So did you see the headline about Will saying that he wanted to kill his father?
Yeah.
And that he felt that he'd probably get away with it because he's a great actor.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I almost feel like Will may be on the verge of like a nervous breakdown.
Well, he said, you heard him talk about the suicide thing.
Yeah.
He wanted to commit suicide. When he was 13 years old, he talked about wanted to do that. And he said if you think about it, he's had to deal with his mental state. He said that acting, being this persona, he built this persona to protect himself. So the Will Smith that you see was his covering.
Yeah, he's almost layered away.
Yeah, because he said he wanted to protect himself, and that was his way of protecting himself by becoming this person that everybody sees. I remember reading something that he said because somebody asked him he said he always gets questioned about his relationship with Jazzy Jazz.
And Jazz living here in Delaware.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Matter of fact, a coworker of mine lived right down the street from him. And they said, "Do you ever feel bad for blowing up the way you did and leaving Jazzy Jeff behind?" And he always laughs when he gets that question, because a lot of people think that he jumped into this big stardom and left his buddy
Right.
behind. And he said that's not the case at all. He said Jeff has always been there. And Jeff is, when they want to do music, whatever, Jeff is there. He
Hmm.
said, like, yeah, if you ever notice, like I might be, appearing somewhere or whatever the case may be, and then Jeff will show up. It's because he's there. He's not
Yeah.
anywhere. And he said, and plus, you guys don't realize Jeff has become a multimillionaire because he's developed turntables that almost every top DJ uses.
And see, I think that's one thing that we don't know about.
Yeah, yeah. His equipment, as far as the music DJing equipment, has been like some of the top selling stuff in the world. And he wanted to make sure that we have um, knowledge of that he didn't leave Jeff behind. He wanted to make sure that people knew that Jeff chose to be where he is, as far
Yeah.
as he never wanted to be, even when he was on The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, he didn't want to be a
Right.
star.
In
He
the
didn't want to,
limelight like
he
that.
said, I made him do that. He said,
Right.
that's why his character was the way that it was.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be not, that's why you never saw him in anything other than that show. Because that was us doing what we do. So
Well, and I just want to tell you a funny story on my part too. Is so I realized Jazzy. So someone told me he lived in Delaware, and kind of like you said, I know someone who lived in that development. They're like, yeah, Jazzy Jet lived right that house right there on the corner,
yeah.
and I mean, the house looked like just every other house in the neighborhood. But I ran into him because where my kids went to daycare, his kids went. So like Dave, I said I literally bumped into them face to face, and I didn't even know what to say. I said, "Excuse me," I mean, in a polite way, of course. But for one of the events I was doing here in Delaware, I'm like, oh shoot, Jazzy Jeff is here in Delaware. I'm going to try to get him to be like a guest at our event.
Right.
So I went on his website because I was going to try to book him. Dave, you would not believe this dude was on a full European tour for the next 18 months. He was like Helsinki, Stockholm, Germany, so that's one of the things where I kind of realized, okay, we don't hear much about him.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's all over,
Yeah.
and not just domestically, but he's over internationally. I do want to say, 100-Yard Alchemist did say that he thought it was very interesting hearing about Aaliyah, R. Kelly, the whole VA hookup, because a lot of times the media has a broad coverage of it where some of the stuff we said kind of went in detail a little bit more. So I definitely think that's funny. Oh, Yolanda, my wife, the church she went to growing up was a church Teddy Riley went to. And Teddy Riley, of course, was big back then, and
Right.
and Pharrell started going there. So I mean, they're definitely very supportive. I know, of course, Pharrell was supposed to do that Something in the Water festival.
Right.
So Yolanda went to the first one. She said it was hype. Of course, they're going to do the one this year, but his cousin got killed in a shooting, and he was dissatisfied with the way that the city of Virginia Beach handled the shooting. Just as far as maybe not the coverage of it, but just the aftermath and probably the the detective work part, that he pulled out of Virginia Beach for the festival, and he said Virginia Beach has a toxic atmosphere. So of course, a lot of people were upset. I'm sure that would have brought millions of dollars to Virginia Beach, which probably could well need into this pandemic. But all the people from VA, they ride so hard for Pharrell that do what you got to do.
Wow. I tell you, Pharrell in the VA area, I know it's funny because you and I had a conversation about that documentary he did where he made
the music one, right?
the choir,
Yeah.
and so forth. And I was just watching that, how they got that. There was a documentary, for those that don't know, where Pharrell uncle, who's a preacher down there, was building a super group, a super choir. And he had all these people from the VA area, from all different walks of life, all different ethnicities. And Pharrell was the producer of the show, and Pharrell, they got a chance to perform. The choir got a chance to perform with Pharrell on a tour, and whatever the case may be. And they actually did an album together. But it was just interesting seeing how how he related to all of those people, and how you could see how revered he is down in that area and so forth. And plus, for somebody to be who he is, he just seems so down to earth. He doesn't seem to let anybody um, to let anybody. He doesn't get himself hyped up to be bigger than what like some of these other celebrities.
No, you're right.
He still walks around. You can walk right past him on the street and not know it was him, because unless he's wearing one of those big hats.
Yeah, and 100 Yard Alchemist just said that he was supposed to come down there to do something with the Boys and Girls Club, but canceled.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm sure his schedule's busy, and I'm not saying good or bad, but hopefully he can make that up. But,
I'm pretty sure that he probably. I don't know if they got a chance to talk or whatever the case may be, but hopefully, that's not something that he usually do, because all these celebrities, they have a persona that they present to us.
Yeah. No,
but
right.
then we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So I can only say from what we've seen of him, what we talk about. But a person like Alchemist that's talking, that I'm sure he probably knows some other things that we don't know. So but that's the world we live in nowadays with what we call the influencers.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
So the one thing I can say, so my wife went to the first Something in the Water festival.
Right. Yeah.
Loved it. I don't know why I didn't go, because I literally sat home doing nothing. We got our tickets for, right after that, we got our tickets pre-sale for 2020. Of course, 2020 was canceled. So 2021, I was excited to go down. So I'm hoping I can get my monies, or because they haven't announced where it's going to be next. Because it was supposed to be.
Is it a pop up?
No, it's not a pop up. But he planned to have it for Virginia Beach every year.
Mm-hmm.
But because of his disagreements with the way the city of Virginia Beach handles stuff, he canceled it. So.
Sure. All right. Well.
So long story, I'm gonna need my $300-ish.
How much were the tickets?
It was like $300, but it was a 3-day concert.
Okay.
And I'm like, the lineup was a top lineup.
Okay.
In fact, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. They definitely had let's see, and to be honest, I think just recently was the first picture I saw of Pharrell where he didn't look as young as he normally looked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I want to say he was, it was some magazine.
Well, did he have a beard or something? Or?
Nah, he didn't, but he just looked like he was aging. And not in a bad way.
Well, let me see, Pharrell, how old is Pharrell now? Is he 50? Or?
I think he's like 80 years old,
Okay. All right. Well, that's funny. So this is
so it looks like that was just from last year where they canceled it. I was trying to see.
They haven't updated anything yet.
Nah. Shoot, they still got Virginia Beach on here, but here you can see all the performers: A$AP Rocky,
Jaden Smith,
Chance the Rapper, Gunna.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nelly, Migos. So,
yeah.
So long story short, $300 was well worth it. Post Malone.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, hey. Yeah. Okay. Usher.
Yeah, man. Big money.
Yeah, boy. Okay. Well, hey. That's their loss, right?
Yeah. Basically. But at the same time, I know that place would have been packed.
Yeah.
And I just like we talked about, knowing your surroundings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure even with this, they'll probably put some precautions now that the Travis Scott incident happened and everyone's suing
Well,
them.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I'm sure there gonna be a lot more
Well, that's just
precautions.
like the big festival we have here, the
Firefly.
Firefly. That's become pretty big too, and um, they're getting entertainment like this coming in.
Yeah.
They're coming in here like that now, and I guess everybody's going to be taking a look at what's happened with Astroworld and trying to figure out how best to handle
To
these
not
type
do what
things
they
and
did.
not do what they did
Yeah.
because it's one thing hyping up. I've been out. I'm a promoter. I do events. For those that don't know, I do a lot of different type of events or whatever, and I've been in places where um, the say the DJ is playing music and there's a certain crowd there. Say, I'm a person of an older age, um, but I had to. I've been in a couple of situations where the DJ will change the music
Mm-hmm.
based on what's in the place,
Oh, yeah.
or who's in the place. And if it's a bunch of younger people in there, of course, live DJs, if you're good, will go to the most current stuff, which is all hype music as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, because most of it has that hyped up beat to it. And they'll start playing that, and you can watch literally as you sit there, everything change. People start jumping around, people start getting hyped, and they start singing the words to the song. A lot of the songs have a lot of different profanity in it, and and it just you sit there and you're just like, what just happened, so you go from Frankie Beverly
Mm-hmm.
to
Cardi B.
Cardi B
Right.
or Meg or one of these people, and Meg's talking about being a savage after you didn't listen to Frankie say,
Right.
have you listened to Frankie say, he got you on your two step and everything before I let go or something like that. So, but when you're in these situations and you're in a club or whatever, and you start to see the people start to get hyped or whatever the case may be, it's really interesting as to the dynamics when you look at a big setting like this,
Yeah.
at like one of these type of situations where you have an outdoor concert and you got 50,000 people there, and all of a sudden you start hyping the crowd up, and everybody's jumping around and whatever. And sure enough, all you got to do is step on somebody's foot
Yeah. Or spill a drink on
or
somebody.
spill a drink on
Yeah.
somebody, and there's a lot going to happen.
Yeah, so let me ask you this, and this is kind of, playing both sides. If you are an artist and you're performing somewhere and something happens in the crowd, are you the artist responsible, or is if the management is separate from the artist, or the management company, is that company responsible?
You know, as a person that does promotions and so forth, I've kind of looked at this from a couple different perspectives. Over the years, Puffy's been involved in, or Sean Combs, or whatever he calls it, Brother Love these days, or whatever.
Right.
He's been involved in a couple concerts that had these type of situations to happen. There's been other people. Ja Rule had misfortune with a concert. You know, when you look at as the artist, your job is to go out there, perform, and make sure that everybody out there is having a good time and is feeling what you're doing. Whatever way possible you can get yourself to do that, that's what you try to do. As the person who's the promoter, your job is to get people there. You're not worried about who's buying the tickets. You just want people to buy the tickets
Mm-hmm.
and get people there. Your job is to sell the place out or to make your money, to make sure that there's enough money to pay all the artists and all the people working the concert, and to make sure that everybody has a good time for yourself. When you're doing all of that and you're trying to get the people to when you're looking at the people that are responsible for these type of things, I look at it as, boy, if an artist says to you, if an artist starts shouting out, we see cops out there, We know everything's been going on with cops all over the country, and you start saying F the cops or F the police.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you just do by saying that? Now you got people saying, following your lead, and they start shouting at the policeman. And what's going to happen there? There's going to be a problem.
Nothing good.
Nothing good is going to happen. Now, if you just say, but as the artist, if you just say, look, we're going to have a good time. I just need you guys to have fun listening to the music. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We're just going to have a good time. You can stay in place, just, dance, jump around, whatever, but please be respectful of everything that's going on around you.
Or, going to a lot of clubs when I was younger, they always say, if you want to keep this party going, then you got to act responsible because these cops ain't playing, management's not playing, security's not playing.
No.
And if you act up, this party's over.
I've done parties myself where some people might have gotten out of hand. I was at a party during the summer where these young people came in, got into one of the wait staff at the restaurant that we were at, and smacked the server.
Male or female server?
It was a male server, young guy, and the female was the one that smacked him.
Wow.
And just because she didn't like what he said, and she smacked him. And that the party ended up getting shut down because of what happened at that situation. Not that it blew up or anything, it was just the fact that it was uncalled for.
Right.
And so the DJ got mad and blasted everybody, and they shut down the party. You gotta be responsible. You gotta make sure that you are paying attention to everything that you need to pay attention to. So that's my view. I mean, I people who go to parties and people that are listening right now, I'm sure they have their own views on it or whatever the case may be, but that's mine.
Yes, I definitely agree.
Where are we as far as time is concerned?
So we have, let's see how to work this. So sticking on an hour, we've got about 8 minutes left.
Okay. All right. I wanted to jump into one other thing before we close out the show. And that is the whole, of course, we're still in a pandemic, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And we really, now we're having a big thing with people who are vaccinated and not vaccinated. It's one of these lightning rod subjects, and we have to pay attention to it because the people that are out there, the athletes. Yes. Oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we just saw we had a call in, but this is our first episode. We're working on some of our equipment, but definitely stay tuned for the next time. But
Can you put it in the chat?
But if you want to type your question in, then we can go ahead and answer. Just try to make it brief and respectful, of course.
Yeah, we'll give you. So if you can go ahead and put that out there real quick, and we'll try to answer right away. So, but what I was saying was the fact we have to make sure that we are paying attention to all the people that are falling into this thing. I was going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and what people felt about Aaron Rodgers misleading the NFL and his club. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't have to be a big sports fan to know about this situation, but just the fact that his fiance is a person who believes in a lot of natural remedies and so forth. She's a tree hugger, as people say.
I was about to say, plus they said he was listening to Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
The white Dr. Sebi.
Yeah. And, then these people, they chew on tree bark and all of that kind of stuff. So when he was asked, was he vaccinated? And he says that he was immunized, and he got away with saying what he said. Now, a lot of us don't necessarily agree because he is a star quarterback. He was the MVP of the NFL Football League last year. And, the guy is great at what he does. But is he privileged to be able to say what he said because he is who he is? And I don't need to also mention that he is also a white male. Um, I ain't scared, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there. And that was somebody who was of African American descent. Would he be able to withstand this backlash? He's also a big part of the whole State Farm um, marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They have come out and said they were unhappy about what's happened, but they don't plan to part ways with him.
I mean, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It's just one of the things where it's like when we look at the January 6th riots,
Yeah.
we know no black people could ever be at the Capitol building scaling the walls. So like even when I hear about Aaron Rodgers, I'm just like, okay, we know if that were a black quarterback, a black player,
Mhm.
they'd be darn near banished from the
Well,
league, sponsors dropped. I mean,
well, let's talk. You said if that was, we got a black basketball player named Kyrie Irving.
oh yeah.
Who refuses to take the vaccine, and he's saying for personal and religious reasons he refuses to take it. Did we get her? No, not yet. So and he's staying at home. He's not playing with his team. His team obviously needs him. He's losing half of his salary for this year. Now the guy makes $35 million,
right?
But he's still going to get 17.
Usually, donated some of that.
Yeah. And he does a lot in the community. But yet last week there was a big protest outside of a basketball game. Did you see that?
I did.
Who did those people look like that was out there protesting?
Not like us.
Not like us. And did they look like some of them same people that on January 6th that was out there cutting up in D.C.?
Yeah, I mean, they had to make America great.
Yeah. And they were only out there to support him just because they wanted to do that. So we didn't get our question?
So I think one of the questions they said we want to talk about Travis Scott. They said were police at the concert, which I'm sure they were.
Oh yes, police. From what I understand, there were definitely law enforcement was definitely there. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that they were prepared, and you're never really prepared for that type of situation.
Plus, 50,000 people. Like, how do you integrate? So I mean, hopefully they had a better idea than police just on the outskirts. Mm-hmm. Like they almost have to have police, at stations all throughout there. Because, I mean, even we think about if 1,000 people get running.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And what you call him, Cedric the Entertainer, it said in the Kings of Comedy, and I had to laugh because I've had it happen before. When you're in a place and somebody starts running, you just automatically start running and they said, well, why are we running? Yeah. And he said, I don't know, but I'm not standing around to find out.
And it's funny, that happened to me in Wilmington one time. I was at the 4th of July fireworks.
Okay. All right.
And it was dark outside, and this was from one of the first years they had it there. And everyone just started running. And I had my kid with me. I'm like, come on. And then, we just started running.
Was that at the waterfront?
Yeah, it was at the Tubman Park. Yeah. My daughter was scared, but I couldn't even tell her why we were running. I just knew other people were running. Now, it turns out somebody had shot a gun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good reason.
Or so they thought.
Yeah.
But, it's one of the things where you see other people running, and sometimes you don't got to ask questions. You just go with the flow.
But and keep in mind, it's cultural, too, because we tend to do that. We will run. White folks may stand around and say, hey, what's going on? They want to do a full interview. When we had the things going on downtown, when they were rioting and everything, there was a guy doing an interview. There was a white reporter doing an interview about what was going on Market Street Mall when they were looting and everything. Yeah. And somebody ran up to him and took his phone out of his hand and took off running. And
I would have been pissed.
Yeah, and you can see the interview. The thing came to an end because of it.
Of course.
You can see the hand go like this, and they just took off. You can hear them laughing as they run away.
Just a black versus white thing. Someone snatched the phone out of your hand and run. What's the first thing you're doing?
I'm going after my phone.
What did he do?
He stood there. He stood there. He was so shocked. You can hear the guy running away, and he's saying what he's saying. But anyway, from what we can see on the clock, we're coming down.
30 seconds.
We got 30 seconds left. So we want to thank everybody that's joined into us and listened to the program and feel free to come back and listen again. We hope we said some things that were interesting and kept your ear, and hopefully we were knowledgeable. But we want to thank you for tuning in.
Yep. I would say, but also make sure y'all like us, follow us, bookmark us. We're trying to set up our schedule now. We're gonna have some pictures and all that. Thank you for joining.
And that's welcome to Newz and Trendz with Dave and Lynn.
All right, we out.
All right, thanks.